After decades of saving and planning, I finally bought a 4,100-acre oak forest I dreamed about owning. It wasn't just land. It was my family's future and one of the largest private oak properties in the county. The previous owner had managed the forest responsibly for years. My plan was simple: protect the land, harvest sustainably, and leave something meaningful for the next generation. Everything was running exactly as planned. The crews stayed within environmental guidelines, and every harvest was documented according to state forestry regulations. 3 weeks later, everything changed. A woman I'd never met marched onto my property and introduced herself as the president of a nearby HOA. She claimed her neighborhood had traditional firewood rights to the forest and insisted residents had been collecting wood there for years. I had never seen anything like it. I asked her to show me a legal easement or recorded agreement. Instead, she handed me decades-old HOA meeting notes that weren't attached to property's title. A few residents admitted they collected fallen branches years ago with the previous owner's permission. Permission, however, wasn't the same thing as a permanent legal right. Before making any decisions, I hired a real estate attorney to review every document connected to the property. We wanted facts, not assumptions. After several days of research, the answer became crystal clear. There wasn't a single recorded document granting the HOA any ownership or firewood rights on my land. With the legal facts confirmed, I updated the property signs and security procedures. I hoped that would settle the misunderstanding. But it turned out to be only the beginning. Only a few days later, my crews reported unfamiliar trucks entering the property. When I arrived, several residents were already loading firewood as if nothing had changed. The HOA president insisted the neighborhood had always used the forest and refused to acknowledge the official records. She claimed tradition mattered more than paperwork. Rather than arguing in the woods, we went back to the records office. Every certified document confirmed exactly what I'd already been told. The property belonged entirely to me. To remove every possible doubt, I hired licensed surveyors to verify every property line. Their measurements matched the county records perfectly. Local deputies responded to keep the situation peaceful. After reviewing the documents, they explained that property ownership disputes had to be resolved through the legal system. My attorney suggested we stop debating in public and let the courts settle the matter. If the HOA believed they had legal rights, they would need to prove them. Because the dispute involved complex property and legal issues, the case moved into federal court. Months of preparation had finally led to this moment. The courtroom was quiet as both sides prepared their evidence. I wasn't interested in winning an argument. I wanted the facts to speak for themselves. Our legal team presented certified deeds, surveys, and decades of recorded property history. Every document pointed to the same conclusion. As the judge carefully examined the evidence, the confidence on the HOA president's face slowly began to fade. The most important decision of the case was about to be made. The judge spent several minutes reviewing every certified document. The courtroom became completely silent as everyone waited for the decision. The court found no recorded easement, ownership interest, or legal firewood rights belonging to the HOA. The official land record spoke louder than assumptions. Months of preparation had finally paid off. Every hour spent researching documents and verifying records had protected my property. Walking out of the courthouse felt less like winning and more like closing a chapter. The decision brought clarity for everyone involved. Back at the forest, work resumed as usual. The crews could finally focus on responsible forestry without constant interruptions. Owning land isn't only about rights. It's about responsibility. Every decision we made was focused on protecting the forest for future generations. I later met with local residents to explain how the property would continue being managed. Good communication turned out to solve more problems than arguments ever could. As I looked across thousands of acres of healthy oak trees, I realized this journey had never been about firewood. It had always been about respecting the law and protecting what was rightfully mine. The forest remained exactly what I had hoped it would become, a place managed with care, respect, and long-term vision. That was worth every challenge along the way. Looking back, I learned that clear records, patience, and respect for the legal process matter far more than loud claims. Sometimes the strongest answer is simply letting the facts speak for themselves. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this HOA story, don't forget to subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another unbelievable HOA showdown.